Another early morning out on the trail. I like to start my days like this, but it's been about a week since I've been out because I've been riding a couple of e-bikes that you'll be seeing soon. But today, my trail bike of choice, the Hyper Carbon X 29er. Actually, not my bike of choice, just the bike that I selected because so many people have been asking about it recently. If you watched my initial review on this bike, you'll know that I liked a few things about it. They made a couple of good choices like the one by. We'll get to that in just a second, but it has a super steep 70-degree head tube angle that I was not a fan of. And that alone was enough to turn me off of this bike, at least as far as making it a project bike. 'Cause I had good success with the Hyper Carbon X 26er that I turned into a 27.5 project bike. And I recommend you stop here and go back and watch the original review on this bike. I'll link it down in the description if you want to get caught up, but here's the Cliff's Notes version. Legit carbon fiber frame. This is true carbon fiber like the Carbon X 26er, but as I mentioned, steep 70-degree head tube angle. Also very narrow bars, but they are 31.8 diameter. A decent stem. These are Neko stems. They're okay. This fork, not very good. Let me see if I can show you some of the fork flex on this thing. Quite a bit, but not the most bottom end fork, but definitely nothing you'd want to ride on the trail for long at all. Snafu branded tires, I love that name. It's on the saddle too. They're okay for affordable tires. These wheels though, very, very heavy. Also have a rim brake channel. Never like to see that on bikes that I think I paid $598 for this. It's dropped I think down to $498 now, but I paid $600 for this bike. Rim brake channels on a $600 bike. $69 pedals, Snafu 1x with a chain guide, so that's cool. Also at the back, nice 9-speed, I think this is. Let's see. Yeah, I believe a 13 to 42 tooth. I know the low is a 42 tooth. Then of course the Falcon Saker derailleur. That goes with this 1x all Falcon Sakers, so that's cool, but it is heavy. And this derailleur doesn't do a particularly good job of keeping chain slap down. It is effective to some degree, but get on rough enough terrain and it starts beating on this carbon frame. I could just wrap this with a lizard skin or something similar and maybe keep this. But man, this carbon frame, nice and smooth, good lines, just that head tube. I have no idea why they decided to go with 70 degrees on this bike. So why am I out on this thing if I don't really like it enough to make it a project bike? Well, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to make some changes to it, because I actually have a fork that I think I'm going to put on it. A budget air fork, the cheapest air fork that I could find. I can also go with some wider handlebars because I think these are 650 or 680. They're not very wide at all, but go with some different handlebars, probably another wake stem. And this Snafu saddle, I love the name, love the look of these, and I even kept the one on my Hyper Carbon X 26er turned 27.5 project bike. The boudoir has grown tired of the firmness of these saddles, so I'll probably swap that out. The two dilemmas are, number one, the wheel set, because wheel set's near impossible to get an affordable wheel set at the moment. But I need to get rid of these wheels to shave any weight off this, because along with the fork, the wheel's super heavy. And that gets me back to that drivetrain, also heavy, but functional for what it is. And if I switch wheels, I'm gonna be swapping out at least part of this drivetrain. So do I bite the bullet and shed the weight there, or leave this intact? So torn, so many decisions to make. A carbon 29er frame from a big box store, even with a 70-degree head tube angle, still something that's an eye catcher and at least a attention grabber. And I woke up this morning thinking there is something that I can do to help alleviate that. What about the mullet? Remember, I went with the 29er up front, 27.5 on the boundary in a recent video. What if I did that here? That actually might work to offset this steep head tube angle. And I'm thinking about leaving this Falcon Saker on the rear, not because it's any great performer, it's just okay. But like wheel sets, all the good derailleurs and cassettes are hard to get at the moment. I've been trying to get an Advent 10, another one, for at least 3 to 4 months now. Same with the Box Prime 9, like I used on Project Boundary. Wasn't my favorite, but still usable. Can't even get them. The only thing I can find is an Advent 9-speed like I had on the original Project Boundary. So I don't know. What do you think? Maybe this is your chance to help me build out this bike. Comment below. Should I go with an Advent 9-speed here or leave this Falcon Saker? should I leave it stock up front with this chain guide and this single chain ring here, or should I take an IXF or other one by that I have and mount that up front? And if I'm getting rid of the snafu saddle and possibly the snafu crankset, I might as well get rid of the snafu grips as well. And I definitely need to get rid of these brakes, these JAK Super brakes. Among my least favorites. Every now and then I get a set that works well. These just won't bed in, don't work well on the front or the rear, so I'll have to figure out something to do there. But I don't want to waste, again, brakes. Hydraulic sets, very expensive right now, harder to find unless you want to wait 4 or 5 months, so we'll see. But this is where you can help out, so comment below with your list. What would you do and what do you recommend I do based on the options that I just gave? Comment below with that and we'll see what becomes of this Hyper Carbon X 29er. Again, I'm seriously thinking mullet bike might actually be useful here. I look forward to hearing what you have to say, so be sure to comment, let me know, and I'm going to get a little more riding in here before the rain moves in. Got some clouds. I think we're about an hour away from some flurries. We actually had a few, which is rare for North Alabama this time of the year. Early December, we just don't get flurries. As a matter of fact, I think it was the first snow we've seen on the ground in 2020, and we're about out of 2020. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, I hope you hit that subscribe button and that you have the notification bell active, because a lot of new videos, another flurry of videos coming here on KevCentral. Just talked about flurries, but a whole different kind here on KevCentral. Like a new air fork for the other Carbon X, Project X that I have. We've got an air fork on that, I'll cover that, as well as some other forks, some bike pumps, parts, and a lot of other stuff. So you want to stay tuned for that. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to comment with your opinions on what I should do with this bike, and have a great day.